Despite evidence showing that diverse negotiation teams lead to more effective and lasting outcomes, women are often underrepresented at the negotiating table. This conversation takes place at a critical time. 25 years have passed since the Security Council adopted the Security Council Resolution 1325, which called for full, meaningful participation of women in peace and security processes. However, today, women still face many obstacles in negotiating, especially in a male-dominated environment. We do believe that the way forward is leading with strength, strategy, and self-awareness. In today's conversation with Matthias Schranner and Karin Muniaini, we will explore how women can demonstrate leadership in taking ownership of conflicts, leveraging emotional intelligence, and using calm authority. We will start on 7 strategic principles for female leaders at the negotiating table, and we will then expand on conflict in the private and public sector, as well as the evolving demands of negotiation in today's world. So many women are conditioned to anticipate resistance in negotiations. My question is, how can they reframe their mindset to expect respect and lead confidence from the start?
Well, I think the first problem is the history, the prejudices they go into the room with. Put it all aside. Start calmly with confidence and positivity, and don't think about patterns in the past. Look forward.
Yeah, that's also from a male perspective. Respect, you don't get it for granted. You have to earn it. And from our perspective, from a male perspective, if I may say so, we want someone who is standing up for a position, who is fighting for a position. We deeply respect someone who is really going against me. This is what we want. We want this fight. We want this tough negotiation.
So how can women shift the dynamic in the negotiation room when their authority may be questioned or underestimated?
I would say preparation is fundamental, and really a structured, quiet thinking of the argumentations that are prepared during the preparation process, and confidence, and staying calm.
Staying calm and saying what you want. What we see very often in negotiations, that women, they dance around the subject. They try to avoid this ultimate conflict. From a negotiation perspective, it's very important that you address the conflict, that you say what you want. So don't dance around, just say it.
So emotional intelligence is often seen and considered a soft skill. However, we know that it is a fundamental principle in difficult negotiations. How can women use emotional intelligence as a strategic advantage?
I would say that it, first of all, is a hard skill, and we should feel as women comfortable really relying on that. It's practical, it's measurable, it's structured. And to have the confidence in looking for weak signals is critical, which is one of the key elements to emotional intelligence, is to be in tuned, aware, observant, constantly feeling the environment. Be bold, use it.
Yeah, feeling the environment, it's so important. And I think from my perspective that women are more allowed to talk about feelings. They are more allowed to say something like, I get the feeling something is wrong here. As a man, you're not allowed to talk about emotions. It's still not accepted. So it's, from my perspective, it's a huge advantage.
As we all know, rigorous preparation is a pillar of the Schranner concept. What does effective preparation look like, particularly for women navigating this male-dominated environment?
Excellent question. First of all, it's a lot of fact-finding. I think women who can come up with very hard facts in their preparation phase is a plus when they enter a room with men as the counterparties, and have those analyses done, have also a very strong team that's involved in that preparation process. The sum total, it's 1 + 1 = 3. So that level of ability and agility will be much stronger if you have the preparation of the hard facts, the research, the conclusions, and then the team that stands by that.
Right.
Regarding preparation, from my perspective, there are 2 elements. Most women are over-prepared. They know everything, they have prepared everything, they know what's good for them, and they know what's good for the other side, so they come up with a proposal too early. The second element is that women very often, they negotiate with themselves, not with the counterpart. So they think about, should I negotiate? So based on my experience, if you negotiate with yourself, you always come to the conclusion it doesn't make sense. And this is why you avoid a conflict, which is definitely wrong.
How can female leaders use silence and pauses to shift power dynamics without being perceived as uncertain?
In a very strategic way. Filling spaces is usually a very common quality associated with women, that need to talk constantly, the need to busy oneself, and I don't mean that in a demeaning way, it's just been a proven pattern in female behavior in psychology. So being really comfortable with just staying silent, and there are many tactics to do so, either holding something, taking notes, being pensive, maybe just having a small but keeping the quiet space.
I would like to add to this, from a negotiation perspective, it's important to combine silence with something else. For example, one word that you say, challenging, and then you wait, then it's more powerful. Or as you said, you take notes. Or I see where you're coming from. It's not smart to say, I understand you. If you say, I understand you, then you hand over the power to the other side.
So my other question is, why is building a negotiation team so essential, particularly for women leadership roles?
I'm just a big believer in teams, period. The end quality, the end result comes from the diversity of perspectives and experiences that are in the team. So why not use that as a female leader? And in general, another sort of stereotype is that women are very good at bringing people together and making relationships work, being kind of the one who can smoothen out also the different elements and perspectives in a group of people.
From a negotiation perspective, it's important during the preparation phase. That diversity we talked about, this is very important, and also in the team structure. In our concept, we talk about the so-called FBI principles. So we have a speaking negotiator, the negotiator, and someone who is observing, monitoring, orchestrating the negotiation, the commander. And female leaders, they need to be commanders. They need to oversee the negotiation process. They shouldn't be involved in all the little fights. So this is what I have learned. I'm a former police negotiator. You can't do both. You can't negotiate and you can't be the orchestrator in a negotiation. So you have to make a decision. And these are two different roles. From our perspective, female leaders, they need to be a commander.
So now I have more general questions that of course can be applied for female leadership in negotiations, but more generally I would like to hear your views on negotiation strategies. And my first question is about escalation and deadlocks. Escalation and deadlocks, as we know, are often seen as failure, but can they actually be useful tools? And under what condition can deliberately entering a deadlock be a smart and a strategic move?
Absolutely, great tools for the timing, the management of the timing throughout the negotiation process, the sequencing, the moving things forward, again, in a very strategic way. Not to be afraid of escalation, not to be afraid of deadlock. It's actually a wonderful tool for progress in negotiation. Something probably a lot of people, regardless of whether they're men or women, are not used to using.
From a male perspective, we love it. We love it. We love this element of, okay, now we are in a deadlock. Now I can show the world how good my negotiation skills are. So now I can take over. Yeah. So we love this conflict. We love this escalation, and this is why we very often create the conflict. And it's not driven by emotions. It's a strategic and tactical element.
Yeah.
Now, broad questions on what do you think that are the most common negotiation challenges today, both in business and geopolitical landscape, and how should negotiators from both sectors prepare from them?
That's a very complex question. From the business perspective, I think part of it has to do with the business environment. Like geopolitics, the business maybe has a bit more cushion of time, unless, of course, there's a contract deadline clock ticking very dramatically. But it's this whole process of really understanding your own, as a negotiator, market. What are the requirements? What do I need to get done? And going to the end, putting the fish on the table, pushing for in a competitive stance, but also for a collaborative result where the other party will walk away losing but saving face.
Right.
Yeah, as you mentioned, it's not a failure. Walking away is not a failure. It's a decision. And if you decide by yourself, okay, this outcome is not acceptable, then you have to walk away. The issue in walking away is not that you walk away. The issue is how to walk away and what to say. And the most important element is if you walk away, you need to open the doors for an upcoming negotiation. Most negotiators, they close all the doors. They burn all the bridges. They come, you are guilty. It's your fault. And if you leave the room in a negative scenario, you can't come back.
No.
And this, I think, we see both in business and geopolitics.
And also private negotiation.
And
it's your fault.
Your fault. I also think that in this, we use this word way too much, VUCA, right? Volatility, uncertainty, challenging and ambiguity, chaos and ambiguity. But actually, that's the perfect playing field for negotiations. Male style, but females can learn it too. And we see the same themes in the press around us constantly. What are the big hot topics? Regulation, unions, geopolitics, procurement, sales, conflict at the end of the day. The sum total is conflict.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think is the role of body and verbal languages, such as, let's say, careful word choices, inclusive terms like we or conditional verb in a successful negotiation?
Absolutely strategic. To be so present in the now in order to understand how you come into the room, the energy you bring, the way you sit, the way you observe. It is critical. Body, verb, word, vocabulary, even the way your sentences flow and the rhythm in which you will construct your sentences. Is it a speedy delivery that has incredible impact, but it can also damage things, or if someone is moving too slowly at the table, whether you're in the commander role or the negotiator role, those have to be watched. And this kind of total awareness thing is absolutely fundamental.
I would like to add to this that the negotiation is all about power, and there are signals of power. It's how you enter the room, how you sit at the table, what signals you send about power. And from a negotiation perspective, it's very important that you be aware of all these signals and that you send it purposely. So you need to think about, okay, if I enter this room, what do I do? So I open the door, and then I walk for 3 steps, and then I wait. Then I observe the room. Then I take a seat. So it needs to be like a script, like a playbook. And it's what we see very often, that people underestimate the importance of the signals. It's all about signals.
That's right.
That's a very good point, and perhaps it goes back to the question I asked before for women who enter in some negotiating rooms who might feel undermined in their power, then perhaps this can be very good.
And to not feel fluttery or threatened if you're observing some dynamic or shift, right? To really stay self-confident and positive. You can do it. We can do it. You can't do it.
We did it.
So now it's for the future of negotiations. What do you think are the training or educational innovations that are needed to empower, equip the next generation of negotiators, whether we're talking about men or women in particular?
I'm hearing a lot about power, the power of data. I'm hearing a lot about AI as a tool in negotiations or other technological advances. I'm hearing a lot about this team building talent development as well, which has a critical role in the world of negotiation when you're forming your team and you're actually integrating a whole mindset shift in the company, which we aim to do at Schroner, is to give this sort of overall package of real alignment and harmonization, but that involves people, and it involves people coming from different backgrounds. So this whole idea of the human force, although we fight with AI and technology every day, at the end of the day, negotiation is about people. I don't know if you agree, Matthias, more than the tools in a way. Yes, strategy and tactics, but it's a people business, right? So that to me is very critical.
It's still people business, even if it's digital business, it's still people business. And so I'm very optimistic about the future. because right now it's a lot of disruption.
Yes.
Yeah.
To say the least.
In America, in the Middle East, in Asia, disruption is positive. It's a new ground to create and develop something new. So I'm very optimistic.
Okay, so I have one final question, probably a bit complicated one, but
we love complicated. Bring it on.
If you have to think of one shift that you believe would significantly improve the way women lead negotiations in the next decade, both in private and public sector, what would you think this would be?
Do you want to answer that first?
So first of all, women, you need a seat at the table. And you won't get it. You have to ask for it. You have to demand it. So make your statement. This is what I want to do. I want to sit there. What we see, especially in peace negotiations, is women will come up with different demands. It's not about security. It's not about borders. It's more about security for the kids. And not security for the border. And it's a completely different mindset. And this is why, yes, you need to have a seat at the table.
So really then becoming an agent of change oneself as a woman. It's not just asking, as you say, to sit at the table, but perhaps also creating that new table, right, for more women to be participating in the process.
And creating new demands.
Exactly. Exactly.
So thank you so much for this great conversation, and for all of you, follow us on LinkedIn, on our website, and ask for a seat at the table.
Thank you.
Thank you.